Say, is there a for sale sign on it?
For rent. For view.
Oh, yeah.
You guys ready to go?
I thought we started.
That's what I'd like to see. Welcome back to the Link Up Podcast. We have a very special guest in the building today. He is none other than the candidate running for Georgetown South, Mr. Gary Rutty.
Yes, sir.
Gary Peanut.
I was gonna
Rutty.
get there,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I was thinking about his daughter because she's been a friend of the show.
Absolutely.
A couple of months, and she's been on. You guys went out to East End to go do that. That was a beautiful set, by the way. Good call.
Appreciate it.
You had D-Bert stressing up there, putting lights and cameras up.
I ain't gonna lie,
and-
it started to drizzle one little bit on the drive up there. I said, oh gosh, don't do this to me now.
But it worked out, man. The gamble
No,
worked
it was
out.
beautiful. It turned out amazing. And, you know, Reagan's a natural in the camera, so I didn't have to do no work. She made my life easier.
Yeah. So her father has a little bit of pressure.
A little bit of
on
got to
this
live up to
episode.
the you know.
Live up to the Rutty name.
Hey.
Big shoes to fill with her. You know what I mean? This is right up her alley. She loves to talk. She loves to talk.
So, but she has to get it from somewhere.
Probably so. Yeah. I got a little bit into me as well. You know.
I can see.
Yeah.
So representing the Cayman Islands National Party, Mr. Gary Rutty running for Georgetown South. Let's get into it. Thank you for braving the seat.
Absolutely, pleasure to be here. Look forward to a little Q&A and a little bit of hope and prosperity, and let's get moving.
So we kind of know a little bit about you, obviously, because of your family history and your lineage in terms of business. I guess we'll get into that. But who are you outside of running right now for Georgetown South? I see this picture behind you on the dock.
That's a lucky man.
That's a lucky man. And I think I seen a video you recently showing off your catch of the day. So I know you're on the water as well. That's one of your things?
I absolutely love the water. That's my passion. Anytime I can get out there, haven't done it lately, but just to get out there and enjoy what God's created for us, and enjoy Cayman and our environment that we have there. It's special and it's precious. It means a lot to me. That's one of the biggest things that we have is our marine environment.
I wanted to say,
I know you're gonna get right into it.
well, no. This is a thank you, right? Because I've been a part of the flag football community for 20 some years now, since I've been involved. And I can't remember, it's more than a decade now that Burger King was one of the biggest sponsors of the league, keeping it going and making it what it is today. Because without sponsorship, the league would not have been able to grow to where it is now. So I just want to say thank you, because I know you played as well. You would love football and stuff like that. But
I can still toss it,
I see you up back there winding up with you.
Let's go.
But yeah, thank you. But just on a side outside of politics and all of that, the Burger King brand and flag football have been synonymous for quite some time, and I know that you were a big part of that. So. Yeah, I do appreciate it.
Well, I think if I couldn't get anybody to come play, I had to start paying them. So we sponsor the leagues and the teams. But, to give back to the community, we have such, good local talent here. And I just want them to come and be able to express it. You get some exposure and to have a good time. It's about, bringing the kids together. Not only kids, but adults, because I played up to a couple of years ago as well. But and kids are a lot faster today than they were back when I could run it. But it was all about, community and giving back. Making people have a good time and an outlet for them to come out and enjoy themselves. And, instead of sitting home, in a podcast show or on a sorry guys.
Nah, you good. You can do both. You can watch the podcast, then go play flag afterwards.
Or on the iPad,
Yeah, man. No, absolutely.
Some physical activity.
I will say, like, on a Friday night, it's nice to have that community where every Friday night we get together, we're playing, flag season's back on now. So every Friday we have this little group of us that go out, and we go out afterwards, have a couple of drinks, laughs, and whatever. And we wouldn't have that community without being able to have the sponsorship and the organization. Mind, there are some great people that have made it what it is today. But yeah, definitely people that yourself that have really contributed and made it a pillar in the community. I truly believe.
Thank you, Chris. And it's, people like yourself, I look at a lot of my buddies here, Dino that comes out and coaches.
Hey.
I look at Perry Levy.
Yeah, man.
I look at oh God, help me now. Oh gosh, Perry's teammate.
Will?
The court will.
Yeah.
Sorry, Hunter.
Yeah, man. Peguero.
Pagero, right?
Yeah,
a
man.
brain movement there. You know, they put a lot. They didn't have any kids. You know, a lot of time and energy, and they really stepped up. And you know, Adrian from West Bay and
Big
Edge.
Big
Yeah,
Edge.
man. Subway.
Yeah, man.
Hey.
it's a time and the commitment that, you know, people like that have come out really given that's made it work. Sponsoring and being, you know, a donor is one thing, but the people who come out and give their time is more than anything. You know, I take my hat off to you guys. You know, you come out there, you support it, and we play and we have some good fun. And I love it and I miss it.
And it's getting competitive now. You know, the national stage now has come that the national team has grown to the point where we have opportunities to win championships now. Before, you know, it was we were going outside. Okay, you were getting the participation trophy back then.
Yeah.
And now it's grown to the point where we're expected to get results now. You know, we've grown to that point now, which is wonderful to see.
And
So-
we got talent in Cayman.
Oh, absolutely.
We just need to tap into it and expose it a little bit, and then also get people to come down and scout them out. But I'm so happy to see that we've taken that talent from our small island and we're going international with it. And you guys are playing with some in the big leagues, man.
Yeah. I wanted to ask about Burger King.
Okay.
I've always made the joke that Burger King in Cayman probably has the most expensive property in all of the world. That waterfront property right there for Burger King.
I know, but what's expensive? It sure got the prettiest view.
For Burger King, all
Yeah.
the Burger Kings in the world, I'm not sure there's one that
Has that view.
has
Yeah.
that view. And
It's special, you know. I take my hat off to my dad back in 1980 when he pursued the Burger King franchise, and 22 months later he cut the ribbon, you know, for Burger King there. So he went through a lot of naysayers, and you know the Burger King corporate, they came down to do a feasibility study, and he had to. I think the population back then was 20,000, and he had to prove to them, you know, the traffic was there, and they came down and they sat in the office across the drive-through from Burger King, and they counted the cars. And they said, yeah, Mr. Rutty's made a liar out of us. A Burger King can work here. And they went to lunch, signed a deal, and it was like from the time the negotiations started till opening, it was like 22 months before we opened it.
that was the first one.
That was the first Burger King came
Wow.
out. And I think it
Waterfront.
might have been the first Burger King in the Caribbean
Wow.
as well. Yeah. So but I had a lot of foresight and a lot of vision. He still does. He's been 93 at the end of this month, but he's bossed me around all the time. What we're doing next? What we're doing next? You know.
That's good.
So he kind of slowed down a little bit because of the decision that I took to, you know, run for office for Cayman. So he kind of gives me a break, but I put Angel on to him, and he bossing her around now.
Sorry, Angel. I remember that because when you do the tours, you talked to Bud previously, and you talk about the submarine tours or the underwater tour, glass bottom boats and whatnot. They talk about Cheeseburger Reef, and they say that was because of the Burger King that's there. 1985 is when that was a big thing.
Yeah, 1982.
Sorry.
Yeah, December 23rd, 1982.
Got that day etched on you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So did you? I guess you grew up obviously in the business, working the business, every position, all of that stuff.
Yeah, well, I worked at a summer there in 1984, and then when I went to college, and then I came home. In fact, I better not go to what the first robbery came in, but I went away to college, and then I came home and started Pizza Hut in 1989. Yeah, 1989, like January 2nd or 3rd, 1989.
That's the iconic Pizza Hut that's there now, right next to the old cinema.
Yep, that's it. That's
Yeah,
it.
that, boy, that was the spot. You go hang out Pizza Hut.
I think a lot of every Cayman
Had a birthday
had
party.
a birthday party.
Oh,
had pizza at the Burger
absolutely.
King.
1000%.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%. But I want to go back to giving you your flowers though, in terms of businesses that recognize the impact that they have in the community. It's one thing to your bread and butter, you're serving the citizens of the country, but then also recognizing the need to give back. So I thought that was big on Chris, but then also just to kind of be very telling us to Burger King and your impact that you guys have given over the years, and that's something that a lot of businesses don't really appreciate or recognize sometimes.
Can I tell one funny story? I told it off camera.
If it's funny, sure, go
I
ahead.
told it off camera about when they had just opened Popeyes,
Okay.
and I was driving across, going to the establishment across the street, that I frequent. Big up Corners.
Yeah, we got corners.
I look through the window, and I see this man teaching the staff how to fry. Like Garrett's out there literally talking to them, be like, I see him pointing this and this step next, and I'm like, oh, he's really like he understands it from The very
Every
beginning.
level.
Yeah, every level.
Well, that was key. When I came, like I said, when I started pizza in 1989, and but going back to the community aspect, the Cayman community has been very good to me, my family, and our businesses, and many others. And I believe in giving back because they need help. We need help. And with a thriving community, we'll have a thriving nation. Just the investment and the profits that we've reaped, we got to give back to the community. And I've done that not only in flag football. I mean, I've done that in scholarships, YMCA,
Big
fishing tournaments.
Big Fish.
Yeah.
I basically say if you throw it, kick it, catch it, or toss it, Burger King was going to sponsor it, right? So,
You say you went off to college in the 80s. You went to, you're a Gator, right?
but I'm a Gator by love and affection of my father and my daughter, but I was actually at Santa Fe College, which is the feeder school for University of Florida.
Okay.
But I didn't. I stuck there for about 2.5 years. I said, man, I better go home because, no matter where I end up or what I do, I will still end up being, at home in a family business. So I came home in December '88, started working pizza at January '89.
Okay.
Why Pizza Hut?
Well, they needed some help there.
I know why Pizza Hut. We love Pizza Hut. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the newest restaurant we had at that time, and they needed some help there, and they wanted me to learn the business. And the general manager that they had there was very, very knowledgeable, and they thought it was best that I come under him for, to grasp an experience there in the knowledge. So, but I showed up in 1989. It was about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I wasn't feeling all that good. Because just coming from university,
I was going to say, yeah, we know.
Christmas time, and I was having a good time.
Yeah.
And I came out the back and I knocked on the door. Had on my manager's shirt, my little name tag, and all of that. Didn't know how to tie a necktie at that time, right? So I had a necktie hole in my hand, and I knock on the door, and I'm like, God, what am I doing? And he opens the door and said, Joe, I'm reporting to work. He said, good, hold on a minute. So I said, okay. So he turned around and he gave me a broom and a dustbin. So I said, well, what's this? He says, I want you to go outside and clean the parking lot. I said, clean the parking lot? I didn't come to clean the parking lot. I came to be the manager, right? So he says, no. He said, you'll get to that one day, but I need to clean this parking lot. So
Humbled you real quick.
Oh, that was only one of the humbling experiences I had. So I go out there and I'm picking up pizza crusts. I'm picking up pepperonis, used napkins, half drinking, cups of Pepsi, and I'm sweeping up, picking up, and that sun's starting to pick up, and the more I'm cleaning, the hotter it's getting. And I said, boy, Gary, you made a mistake. I could have been back in Gainesville right now, sleeping about 9, 10, 11 o'clock, just having a good thing, no worries in the world, but this is life. I got to make the best of it. So about 45 minutes later, cleaned the parking lot. I had been at Pizza Hut, went in there, and he says, okay, we're going to sit down and watch some modules now for the next couple of hours, and we'll, learn some other things, the basic stuff. So I sat down there for a couple of hours watching this stuff and watching what was going on, and that went on for several weeks. Every morning, I had to clean that parking lot, right? I'm like, God, I got to put some signs up, please dispose your trash properly, right? But he said, no, that's your job. So I did that and, became an assistant manager. I was making $1,200 a month. And I had a $232 a month car payment, so I was left with $968 to spend. Right?
I like that he remembers the exact figures.
To the dollar.
Yeah.
But I figure I had to know how much money I had to spend on Holiday Inn, I had to Treasure Island and Monkey Business. So I had to make sure I budgeted properly, right? So, but it was a good time, Like I said, it made me appreciate the value of a dollar in an honest living.
Right.
So it was a humbling experience, yes, but I'm appreciative of Joe today. God bless his soul in what he taught me, and he's helped me to become the successful person that I am today because of what he shared with me, and his that was all he did was Pizza Hut. And being a manager of Pizza Hut is also just not a manager of Pizza Hut. It teaches you timelines, labor, projections, inventory.
That's what I wanted to ask too, because you mentioned Pizza Hut, you mentioned Burger King, you mentioned Popeyes, you just mentioned all these just range of businesses that are obviously franchises. What's that experience been like in terms of negotiating and working with these international corporations? Because I'm sure that's going to prep you for what you're going to get into. No.
It was a great experience, and I learned a lot. I was also not only at the Popeyes and at Burger King level, but you're selling yourself. But when you're dealing with these corporate guys, you're not a name, you're a number. And you have to sell yourself, and you have to make them believe in you and have faith and trust in you, because we're going to be partners first up for 20 years. And they come now to do feasibility studies, to do traffic studies. They check how your operations are. I mean, they take you through the ringer. And I was also at Comfort Suites as well. And one of the gentlemen that we had at Comfort Suites, there was a partner, he was actually the chairman of PepsiCo, a gentleman by the name of Roger Enrico. He's very, 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 very famous and one of the top CEOs in the U.S. And being on a board with him and what he taught me, it was, I could have gone to any university in the world, right? But the experience and having, him as a mentor for me and teaching me different things, there's no value that you can put on that. I was blessed. I was blessed.
You good?
Me? No.
Taking it in?
Yeah, no. I didn't know if you threw it to me or what. Okay. I wanted to ask you then. So you recently sold. Well, you made the gas station by Hurley's at that time, Peanuts. But and I guess you decided to come to the decision to sell the franchises and become a landowner.
Yeah. So I did Pizza Hut for 15 months, and my father asked me to come over to Burger King, right, and help him over there, because they were having some issues, and I was learning the business. I was grasping the concept of managing in restaurants and stuff like that. And it's just not about opening the door and putting something on the fryer or on the broiler and making a milkshake. There's a lot of detail that goes into it. And he thought I was doing pretty good, so I went over to Burger King, and I was there probably for about a year and a half. And he and I had a little disagreement, so I quit. And he said he fired me, but I quit before he could fire me. And it was just a personal disagreement. It wasn't anything to do with the business, but it was outside forces that became inside forces. So, but in that time, I purchased a piece of land. My cousin Randy Merrin came to me and said, "Boy, Peanut, man, there's some land out here in Queens Highway. We can get a good deal on it. It's $60,000 a piece, right?" So I was making $1,500 at Burger King. Now I'm making good money now, right? I got us $300 in about 2 years' time.
Yeah.
So he said they want $60,000 for these lots in the Queens Highway, and they got these terms. We should get them. So Angel had moved to Cayman now, and she was living with me. And I said, "Angel, Jughead, Randy, Jughead, that same thing."
Yeah.
All of us got nicknames, right? Everybody got a nickname.
I want to ask you about the peanut name as well. We'll come on to that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So anyhow, we went and we got purchased these properties on time, and we were paying like $2,300 a quarter for them, right? And I make $1,500.
Oh man, what a wonderful era, man.
It was. So I had that piece of property now, and then my dad and I had this fallout, and I didn't have any income coming in, so I went to work for Dick Christensen. He's doing the quarter East End, right?
Yeah, Graham Rankin there, what?
Yeah, everybody was there, and I'd gone from cleaning the parking lots to learning the restaurant business, becoming an assistant manager, into the quarry, to taking the guys water in the morning. I mean, first thing in the morning, I show up to work, I had to go get the water, right? And I'm like, "Boy, this I thought Pizza Hut was humbling, right? Because I thought I was getting somewhere in life. I had a little piece of land, but I had an obligation to repay that piece of land, right? So I started working with Dick Christensen, and then he put me in charge. He asked me to get in the road crew, laying asphalt, right? Which wasn't really asphalt, more like chip and spray. You'd run the hot mix, and then you'd come behind with the chips, the rock chips to fill it in, to go with asphalt. So that was mine, and you'd be out there at 7 o'clock in the morning, and Angel would cross me, and I'm sweeping with that big old push broom. And the Christensen said I couldn't have an experience, because I came with the Christensen experience. I could sweep a parking lot, but I was sweeping a highway. So I went from sweeping a parking lot to sweeping a highway. And I worked with Dick Christensen about 6 months, because I had that obligation. I just couldn't sit home, and I needed to pay for the piece of property. So my dad kept coming to me and said, "Son, I want you to come back to Burger King. Why you come back to Burger King?" I said, "No, I'm not coming back." I said, it was some personal issues there. He said, "I'll do whatever it takes for you to come back." So he started taking me fishing. And we went fishing for about 2 or 3 weeks. And
he got you all the fishing.
Oh, God, he was trying, right?
Smart one when he got you, man. Yeah.
2 or 3 weeks now we went fishing. We weren't catching anything. I said, "Jesus, I said, I'm in a mess." I said, "We're not catching anything. I'm not making any money. I'm starving to death, right?" I said, "I'm going to have to go back to Burger King."
Yes.
So went back to Burger King, and he gave me a little, not really a promotion. I just basically got into where I was before, and had a lot more responsibility, put on me because of other people that weren't there. And I started back, and I still had that loan payment to pay, right? Well, I guess about 6-8 months later, Randy came to me and said, "Well, Peanut, somebody to buy my piece of land. You know, I've partially filled it, and they're off me 135,000 for." I said, "Well, Juggy, that's good money, man." I said, "What you gonna do?" He said, I could take that sucker, man. I'm gonna sell it, right?" So, anyhow,
Doubled, yeah.
so he sold his. And about 2 weeks later, my cousin Dale Creighton calls me and said, "Man, Peanut, that piece of land Jughead sold is, you want to sell yours?" I said, "Boy," Randy asked me, I said, "I'm really not interested, but let me talk to my dad, because like the last payment that I had to make, I was short, and he helped me." So my father said, "Yeah, son, tell him you take $215 for it, right?" So I said, "Dale, Dad," my father said, "We'll take $215 for it, right?" So Dale said, "Give him a couple of minutes." So he came back to me and said, "Yeah, people pay you $215.
Oh, man.
So about 2 weeks after Jughead sold his for $135, I sold mine for $215, right? Because I held it a little bit longer. And that
2
was
weeks longer.
2 weeks longer.
Yeah.
But you know, back then, Caymanians could afford a piece of land in their own country.
Yeah.
And a lot of them kept it, but I flipped it, and then I went on, and you know, that was my stepping stone for us to acquire our family home. That, you know, we've been there now about 32 years, Angel, and
You use the money from that to purchase the other piece of land?
to purchase a home from my parents where I'm at. So
That's a good flip, man.
it was good. It was a
60 to
good flip.
215? Yeah.
But like I said, I never gave up. I had every opportunity in the world to say, let that piece of land go, make them take it. But you know, I set a target. You know, I wasn't even in the tunnel. Talk about the light.
Yeah.
But I knew it was there someplace, and I've never been a quitter. You know, I've always strived to accomplish and get through whatever started.
Tell me about your father, though, in terms of that sort of that hiccup that you guys had. How humbling was that to make that amends? I mean, that must have felt good that he wanted to take you fishing and to, you know, get back into your good graces. But then, how was that for you to eat that pie and say, let me take this olive branch and let me work on this relationship?
Sometimes I wonder if he was trying to make the relationship, but he just wanted to go fishing.
Two for one.
But it was great. Like I said, you know, I owe a lot to my dad. I mean, he's a wonderful person. He taught me a lot, and he's just really one of, you know, just a true ambassador. He's never met a stranger, and he goes out almost every night.
That's a bar.
He'd be 93.
Never met a stranger.
Never met a stranger. He's going on 93 on March 29th, and in fact, he left 2 days ago to travel to Jacksonville all by himself. And he's just an amazing person. And I want to aspire to be more like him more and more. I mean, he's my complete role model.
Okay.
You know, he's one of a kind.
We're gonna make sure he listens to this then and hears it. So tell us about I guess this decision to run. I mean, I know he had some political.
Yeah, my grandfather was Aston Rutty, and in fact, he was the I think he'd be called a district administrator of the.
Got a building named after him, right?
Yeah, of the Sister Islands. Yeah, the Aston Rutty Civic Center in Cayman Brac, and when he was 32 years old, the biggest or the worst natural.
You really got a thing with numbers.
I don't forget numbers.
You really got a thing with numbers.
I forget everything else, but numbers, At the end of the day, remember, you got to repay it, so you better make sure you know how much it was. So never forget a number.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So 1932, he was probably 32 years old at the time. He was born 1900. Yeah. He was the district administrator, which is like the district commissioner or the governor of the Sister Islands, Cayman. And we have what everybody all know about the 32 hurricane.
32 storm.
And growing up till I even hit the 32 hurricane was the benchmark of a timeline that my grandparents always referred to, right? It wasn't anything else. It wasn't like pre-Gary or post-Gary. It was 32 hurricane. And he was he's actually the first Caymanian to ever receive a royal recognition, a royal gong, for his contribution to not only for the 32 hurricane, but it was basically based, and I was 32 years old, very, very young gentleman at the time, and rebuilding Cayman Brac, because you had a lot of families. I mean, I think it was like 114 people that perished, you know, that either lost at sea or actually, you know, died in the Brac for the 32 hurricane. And a lot of work, and he persuaded many of the wealthy Caymanians at that time to stay here in Cayman and help him rebuild Cayman Brac. And his foresight and his vision, his knowledge of the people that he was dealing with, stayed in Cayman Brac, and then they later came over, like the Kirkconnells came over, the Fosters came over to Cayman and help us build, and inject their wealth into the economy that we enjoy today. A lot of people don't know how the history of Cayman really came about. But it was, the majority, the Mirrens were here, and then, Thompson's family were here as well. But you had the Scotts, the Ruttys, Tibbets, Fosters, and Kirkconnells. And it was like my uncle, Captain Eldon, who really helped jumpstart the local economy that we enjoy today, like the tourism industry with the Freeports and stuff. And I think Kirk Freeport just celebrated their 52nd anniversary. So it was their vision, and they didn't accomplish and get to where they are today being easy. I mean, they went to sea. They made a living because there was really no commerce in Cayman back then. I mean, I think they were exporting coconuts at one time out of little Cayman, but they invested their money back here, and they built this country to what we enjoy today, and we owe them a huge gratitude, because that was Iron Men, and I look at my dad, my grandfather, my great grandfather, and other grandfathers and grandmothers and stuff that, because the ladies stayed here and took care of the families and the children while the husbands went away. And I can't let them down. I have to appreciate and respect what they did for us. They took the risk.
Life is easy now.
Life is easy now, right?
For the most part. Granted, we got our little...
For the most part.
We're not out here swatting mosquitoes with...
No. but the opportunities and the challenges that we face today, I mean, I know what I went through, that I could afford a piece of land, but our kids are not having that opportunity that we were so blessed with, 20, 30 years ago. And I look at my kids, and, my biggest investment, my best investment have been into my children, to make sure that they were educated, because we need to bring that mindset, we need to bring that knowledge back here into our country. We don't need to import it. We have it, the talent here. We talk about athletics, right? Yeah. But you can talk about academics as well. And Cayman has a lot of smart people, but we need to tap into that. We need to use that resource. And I'm here, to respect what our foreparents did, but I also can't fail our children. We have to protect this, and we have to make sure that they can come back and use the knowledge that they've learned and help continue to grow Cayman. And we pass that on from generation to generation.
How did you get the call to and the idea, I guess, with Dan to come up with the National Party?
You sure you want to hear that story?
Yeah. What was that call like? Yeah.
Well, I was retired, for about 2 years, and having a good life and enjoying it. No alarm clock, no long pants. Everything I had went over.
No alarm clock, no long pants.
BK Big Fish, fish blood tore up shirt, and a pair of shorts, and that was my uniform every day. And Angel and I, we were traveling, we're going around, going to places and just catching a breather, because, I put in 30 plus years, like 32 years in the restaurant business and hotel business. And I'd given it my all. And I said, okay, we're gonna enjoy it, and we're gonna see where life takes us. So if we got up in the morning and say, let's go to the Brac for the week, we got in the morning, go for the Brac. We'll go to Tampa for 2 weeks, we'll go to Tampa for 2 weeks. I had no obligations, right? Yeah. I was living life to the fullest. And I got a message or a call from Dan about having lunch. I said, what the world's Dan Scott want with me? I said, anyhow, let me go see what it is. I said, I don't think he needs to borrow any money. I said, I don't think I had an overdraft for the last couple of years, so I'm okay. So I went down, and Dan and I and two other gentlemen, had a meeting. And Dan says, Gary, I'm getting, congrats on your retirement. I haven't seen you in a little while. And he says, I'm getting ready to retire too. I said, Dan, thank God we can go fishing together, man. You got to have a good time, man, right? He said, no, I'm not ready.
He was setting you up, man.
he was setting me up, man.
Yeah.
It was for lunch, He invited me for lunch, right? That was 22 months ago. I'm still having lunch with Dan, okay? That's been the longest hamburger it's taken me to eat yet. Yeah. So, anyhow, he said, Gary says, I can't sit back here and continue to watch what's going on with this country. This country has served us too good. He says, we need to give back to it. I said, well, Dan, let me tell you something. I said, that's a hard ask right now. I said, but I respect you retiring. I think you should go enjoy retirement. He said, no. He says, we need to do this, and I need you to do it with me. I said, Dan, you got to be crazy, man, right? I said, I'm enjoying it. He said, yes, but he said, you want to enjoy it here. I said, yes, I want to enjoy it here, right? He said, we need to do it for our children. I said, we need to do it for our children. I said, we need to do it for me and you. But I don't know if you've been to Dan Scott's office. I mean, he got more degrees and certificates than these pictures. He ran. I think the reason why he retired is because he ran out of walls. He used to put all his degrees. So, anyhow, I said, Dan, everything I have is concrete and steel into the ground. I don't have a degree, right? What I have is in Cayman. I got to fight for it here. I said, I will join you for that. I said, but my kids can go anywhere and make it, but I want them to make it in our country that we fought for and our foreparents fought for. So I will consider doing it with you. I got to go home and talk to Angel. That conversation with Angel took me 6 months, right before she finally agreed. And it was a sermon that she heard in church that day. And I just saw her start nodding like this at the pastor. And I'm like,
oh, man.
And oh my God, I said, this is it. And she says, you know, this community has served us all well. We won't have a thriving community if we don't give back. She says, I will support you wholeheartedly if you want to do it, and I'll be there with you, right? And it has to be probably the most monumental task that I've taken on. I don't want to be selfish about it, because at the day we need to make sure that this country is put on the right path for generations to come and enjoy. We can't let down the people who built this country and who risked their lives going to sea. That's where a lot of money that really started came on from is they went to sea. Money but never came back. They perish at sea.
Yeah.
We got to respect them, and we also have to respect our investments into our kids.
Speaking of sea and seamen,
Let's go fishing.
Let's go right now.
Right now.
Like,
Cut it. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
You want some wahoo?
Let's go. Man. The bike, man. Everybody get them upset me.
Speaking of seamen, you got endorsed and nominated by one of the most famous and well-respected seamen in Caymanian history, Captain Paul.
Yes, sir.
What was that conversation like, and what did it feel like to have him go up and sign off on your name being put forward for election?
It was one of the greatest honors to have somebody like Captain Paul believe in me, to come forward and to do that. You know, I went to him and, you know, he'd heard what I was doing, and I went and sat down with him for about 2 hours one day, and he couldn't have been more welcoming, more appreciative. He just felt me like, this is what I'm doing it for. You know what I mean? The respect for him, and also the vision of the future that we've invested in for our kids. And having Captain Paul, you know, come on board with me, and just 3 days before he came out to nominate me, he had surgery. He had to replace a pacemaker. But he's skipping and clicking around like he's a young Captain Paul again. But you know, if you ever want to hear stories about how Cayman got to where it is today, we need to tap into like people like Captain Paul, my father, and other people, because they can tell you the struggles and the trials that they had with this country and the challenges. And for him to believe in me and come forward, it was just overwhelming. I mean, I'm so grateful and so thankful and so blessed that he believes in me. And we're family. We're distant. There's a cousin because his grandmother or mother was a Hines, and my mom was a Hines, and they're the first settlers in South Sound. There's a map from, I think, 1773 showing. The Hines family in South Sound.
So you are South Sauna.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask too. I mean, how did you come up with Georgetown South? Yeah, I just wanted to get the background on that. Yeah.
Georgetown South, well, it's a very diverse area, right? And you know, I always believe in, like I say, giving back. So several people came to me and said, you know, Van Peanut, you should look at Georgetown South, right? You got a lot of family there. I mean, I'm family to Hurlstons, I'm family to Bushes. You know, people just think, you know, I'm a Rutty, but I got Marions, Bonds, McCoys. I got a lot of different blood in me, right? I mean, I'm the ultimate vegan smoothie. You put everything in, spin it off, right? So, I mean, nobody wants to see my what is everything in 23. What's that?
23 and me.
23 and me, right? I got it all, but I got it all, and I'm not afraid to tell anybody.
23 and me.
So you know, I started talking, and then looked at the voters list and looked at people, and then I started, you know, going around the areas. I went into Windsor Park. You know, I reconnected with a lot of people there that I work with. I mean, even the people who even train me in the restaurant sometime, you know, somebody in a Whopper board or somebody making a pizza, right? That I ran into, and we reconnected, and I just kept talking to the people and seeing what the issues were and what they're going through, and knocking, going from door to door, knocking, and then it goes through other areas in South Sound. But my heart is to see some of the Caymanians that instead of we got a handout mentality, but we need to give a hand up to these Caymanians, because Caymanians are hardworking people, they're resilient, and they need to enjoy the lifestyle and also the way of living that so many people have come to the shores to enjoy. And whatever I can do to teach them and help them, I'm all in it for 4 years. When I get elected April 30th, I will dedicate the next 4 years to make sure that I'm giving a hand up to my fellow Caymanians, and they can enjoy the quality of life that so many people enjoy here.
That's that confidence. He didn't say if elected or he
April 30th.
He said when
I'm
elected.
elected.
April 30th, yeah.
No, I don't enter the race to lose. Okay, if I enter to lose, might as well I enter.
There you go.
I'm in it to win it.
I want to circle back to the retirement comments, because I think that's one of the things we hear a lot. People, they look at candidates who want to enter politics after they've had a career, and they think of it as a retirement plan or a paycheck. Sorry, not the candidates, but the voters. And I think it's important that we highlight back that, you were enjoying retirement. You were, this is what I'm doing. I'm okay.
Oh, it's good.
I'm spending time.
It was good. It was good.
Hey, but looking over like, yep, it was good.
but I also think it's important when you talk about serving country, and when you get a call from a certain person of a certain stature, and they say, listen, this is what we need to do. You have to answer that call.
Yes.
You have to answer that call. So I don't want it to come off as just, once we have our people who've done well in their careers and they retired, and it's like, oh, what's next? I want to go be a leader or whatever, or be that's not normally the thought process. The thought process is, let me go and enjoy my retirement with my family. I've worked so hard for 30 plus years. But yeah, you have to take that lunch.
My goal was in 2021, I picked up the game of pickleball, right?
Oh yeah, big pickleball.
And my goal was, my dream was to be the best pickleball player in Cayman, right? I was getting pretty good, but I went from playing 7 days a week, maybe down to once a week if I'm lucky right now. And I'm not going into this because I need a job or I need a paycheck, right? But what I need is a country, and I need a future for my children and every one of your children here today. And I'm willing to bring my knowledge and my experience and my hard licks in success in life, what I've learned, to the table. Because you're running a company, right? And I've run companies before, very successful companies, and your government is a company, right? And my employers are the voters, right? So I will be employed by many, many people, and I will come in and I will give it my best to make sure that they can succeed and enjoy as well. But as far as I go, I'm out looking for a job. I'm not looking for a job, but it's a job to be done.
You mentioned successful companies just now, and I was thinking about the deal that Reagan had for her meal at Burger King. That marketing deal, that promo deal.
Was it? It was
the Queen's
meal.
Queen's combo, I think it was.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I want one for us.
You want for us?
Podcast, yeah.
I get hungry too, man.
No, I want to link up podcast meal at Burger King. See if we can talk off here. We talk off. Because Chris loves food. We don't have a podcast where the podcast doesn't end in us talking about food or corners, for example. What else is going on?
You should have come to Popeyes that day, man. I would have been making it for you. Huh? Instead of watching me.
I don't think you were open yet. I think you were preparing for. I could have been a taste tester.
There you go, man. Could have been a freebie.
Said, no, this will be a little bit more crispy, please.
Yeah.
A little bit more spicy. A little dash that, a little bit more salt in that.
Too salty.
So, in terms of I guess we're going to shift a little bit now, but national importance. Where is it that the National Party focus on in terms of moving the country forward from where you think it is now?
Yeah. Well, I look at some of the national issues that we face. Are education, immigration, environment, opportunities, cost of living, and a lot of those can be addressed because you have to tighten up your expenditure. Our government doesn't have a revenue problem. It has a spending mismanagement problem, right? we need to make sure that the value, whatever infrastructure project that we get into, that we get value for money, and it's going to benefit Caymanians. Caymanians must be receiving a benefit of any investment or any infrastructure development this government, our government takes on, or any government, but which will be our government. So we're confident that we will be giving them what is due to them and what's deserving.
Yeah, there you go, Chris. He answered you.
Okay.
We were catching up a little bit earlier before we started recording, and you were talking about, I guess, your days as a youth and getting into mangroves. You're talking with Bud, perhaps, but some of your fondest memories of Cayman and your childhood, your youth.
Well, a lot of my fondest memories. My mom was a Sunday school teacher at Presbyterian Church, right? And I grew up with Lee Ramon, Stoker, Muscle, Handouts, all of those fellas, because she was their Sunday school teacher, and I used to sit in the back with them at the Presbyterian Church, right?
And misbehave, right?
And misbehave.
Okay.
Misbehave. I was a little kid in the back there, but those were like my big brothers. So I owe such a great honor, because Cayman was such a united country, a united island. We all hung out together. We grew up together. We looked out for each other. But it's kind of like gone splintered to the side, a little crossway at times. So did a lot of that with my mom, and then she would go down into like Watler's Road and Rockall on Saturdays, and she would like have Bible study with the kids, and I'd be down there and I'd play the kids. I got a lot of friends ask me, how you know all these people? I said, they're not these people, they're my friends. We grew up together. But I grew up in West Bay Road down at till I was about 10 years old in Whitehall Gardens across from Treasure Island. Then we went to moved to Frank Sound in 1977, but my mom got really sick in 1978. And she came down with a very rare disease, and it took them quite a while before they could diagnose it properly. And we sold our house in town because the medical bills were so high. She was off the island. She'd actually gotten paralyzed from her neck down for about 6 months. And sorry, guys.
You can take a minute.
Sorry, man.
I'm sorry.
You're all right.
And I was like 11 or 12 years old at the time, and she was off the island, and it was just like me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was out Frank Sound, and then we talk about different things and people, and one of the people who were very instrumental in my life was the MP from East End, Isaac Rankin, his father, Gerald.
Okay, man. Gerald Rankin. Yeah,
man. Gerald and I are very tight, right?
Turtlenecks and stuff. Yeah,
man. So Gerald and I, I was in 6th grade, and he was working for us at the home, and then he was running we'd have like fishing boats and little charter boats and stuff, and he would come there and take care of things, and my dad would be off the island, and I'd have to hitch a ride or didn't have to hitch a ride. I used to get it to town either on the home gas propane truck. They would stop and pick me up, and it was just other gentleman, and I always told him, I said, if you ever see me that I'm not out here, I was like 11, 12 years old, and I said, I've already got a ride with the other one, but I'm waiting for Gerald to come to work because I want to go fishing. Me and Gerald are going fishing. Anyhow, so that went on till one day Gerald and I went fishing, and I didn't have any breakfast that morning, and we were out, and he turned around because he never got overboard and dove a conch. He used a striker, a jeggy, and a water glass, right? That's how he got the conchs. So we went and got 2 conchs, and he cleaned them, and then we go out to go fishing. He turned and looked for the conchs. He said, where the conchs are? I said, but Mr. Gerald, I ate him. He said, you ate him? He said, I take you ashore. And we're not doing this anymore, right? So Gerald dropped me back to shore. And it took me forever to make amends, and I kind of had to start going back to school, right? Anyhow, but I grew up in Frank Sound till I'm there today, right? And I look at what I enjoyed as a marine environment and what was there for us. It was abundance of marine life, and I feel that I grew up at Cayman at the best time because I knew what it is to have and not to have. But one of the biggest treasures we have is the marine environment, and that's becoming so depleted today. I do everything I possibly can to protect that, and if we don't protect that marine environment like we enjoyed, our tourism product, is already it's not a crossroads, it's a figure 8 right now. It's a disaster. People are not going to come to Cayman just to see salt water. They can go to 70% of the rest of the world and see salt water. They want to see something crawling. They want to see something swimming. They want to see something skating across the ocean floor. We have to protect that for not for future generation. We need to protect it for ourselves today.
Absolutely.
You know, we're blessed back in, I think it was in 1984. My running mate there, Bud Johnson, his father, the late Sir Vassal Johnson, he put in the marine park zones in laws and stuff. And if he didn't do that back then, today, gentlemen, there wouldn't be anything for us today. And the population back then, when he did it, was probably around 20, 25,000. We're probably around 80 or 90,000. And so many people are tapping into that to make a living. You know, if that's depleted, where are they going to go to eat? You know, we have to do better enforcement. We have to make sure that the laws are carried out, and the fines and the charges or the verdicts that are delivered in court are going to stick. And I said it long ago that our marine park violations need to be treated basically as a firearm violation today, right? That's how sensitive our marine environment is.
I believe you.
Right?
I believe you. I'll give you a small story from my own perspective, because I can no longer go conking in front of my mother's house. Mm-hmm. My mother lives close to Tucker Restaurant, mm-hmm. and that entire spot, almost entire area was my playground mm-hmm. to go conking in my little tracker, and it was maybe 2018, 2017. I couldn't barely find no conch. Mm-hmm. Like literally could find no conch. Before, you could pitch down your anchor, mm-hmm. one spot, you coming up with 10 instantly. Mm-hmm. No, I was searching for 2 hours to find 10. And sure enough, the next year, the whole area became a marine park, mm-hmm. right? To conserve the conch, and hopefully they could replenish the area, because it just was overfished. Yeah. And I wanted to ask you, do you think that is in the environmental, I guess, area would be where you'd want to specialize your efforts when elected?
When I'm elected, a lot of my influence and a lot of my knowledge and care and passion is going to be towards the marine environment, because it needs to be better police, it needs better enforcement. And I'm not talking about better police, because we need more officers. And some of those sounds
they only have a handful, right?
Only a handful. It's spread thin for what they have to cover.
And our little C not big. I mean, not small.
Not small when it comes to that. But we need, I would almost, push legislation to have marine park officers in every one of our sounds today, because that is how fragile and how valuable our marine life is to our economy. We have to protect that and make sure that it's sustainable. We cannot have overfishing. We cannot have people living out of it. It can be taken in bits and pieces. Maybe cut the catch amount down some. But I mean, I could go off of my dock 40 years ago and swim at 100 yards and pick up 10 biggest conchs you'll find in your life, right? But you go to know if you can find 10 dead ones, but you can't find them live.
Yeah, you find them all pop.
Pop. You can't hit him in the head and then, it's okay, little buddy, let me put a conch back and he can swim away. He's gone.
Oh, man. Well, I completely agree with you on that. I think enforcement is the biggest issue when it comes down to the arena, because they're doing arrests and stuff like that, but making these charges stick is the biggest problem.
Yeah, I've heard they caught a gentleman. I wouldn't really call him a gentleman. They caught a person in Frank Sound 3 times in 1 week. And he still had the same mask, snorkel, and fins, right? He shouldn't have had a pair of drawers to put on to go back in that sound again, right?
Yeah, not 3 times in a week.
Unless we start throwing the book at them and showing, listen, we are going to protect this. Either you're going to abide by the laws of the Cayman Islands, or you're going to suffer the consequences.
There's no reason for them to really stop, right?
No, because... And somebody from my understanding, picked up 200-something conchs a couple of months ago.
That was Chris.
That was Chris.
Well, not me.
He couldn't find them.
Me. He couldn't find them. Yeah, they didn't have a chance.
Yeah. And the guy goes up and he goes and he gets 240 hours of community service, and the community service was to ride around with the Marine police to see how they do their job.
Oh, wow.
That's like putting the fox in the hen house. Yeah.
Yeah, that's that.
Or the barracuda in the school of sprats.
This is why you can't pour, because I want fried barra.
That sounds good. Good.
So how you been finding the trail so far? I mean, obviously, like I said, you had a particular mindset going into this before, and you said your father, you guys, you've never met a stranger. I see the storytelling here. That's that's in you.
Mm-hmm.
How have you been finding canvassing and going around the neighborhoods and that sort of stuff so far?
It's been very welcoming. It's been humbling. It's been educational, and we get there, and I've heard stories before, and I've helped people throughout my life, but I'm not a person to go out there and get accolades and show someone's shortfallings, and it could be anywhere from helping with tuition to the smallest little things, right? I mean, coming home, flicking your light switch on, and nothing happens. But the response has been, I would say, overwhelming. People want change. The country wants change. They're tired of the promises. They're tired of the shortfallings. They're upset that they see so many others coming to Cayman and making it, buying our properties, being able to develop it, and they can't even put a coat of paint in their own house. So, but it varies wherever you go. I enjoy it. Like I said, I want to give back. I want to be able to help people, and the people want help. But not only they want help, but they also want to have the opportunity to be able to perform and show what Caymanians are all about. And whatever I can, get them, back to job, employed. I've helped several people already within the Windsor Park area, get employment, giving them businesses and stuff like that, whether it's painting a building, whether it's producing banners, shirts. Several have gotten, employment with companies, and they're so appreciative because they want to go and they want to perform and they want to take care of themselves. So if I can see results and I can make a positive impact like that, helping my, fellow Caymanians secure opportunities in the workforce, that they can take care of their own, trust me, it's worth every door that I knock on and every street and road that I go down.
Well said, well said. Chris, I know you got me talking about conch and stuff, so it might be our time to call it a day on the recording.
I do want to say, a lot of people come up here, and we've been doing this quite a long time, and it's some people, they're very reserved and showing their personality, and I'm just glad that people got to see you the way that I met you when we did the shoot in your backyard with Reagan there. I think you have an amazing personality, and I'm glad that it got to shine through today. I'm just very happy about that. I know a lot of people feel like once they put on, the suit and tie or whatever and go out there in politics, they have to, be, perfect and yada, yada.
Mr. Rutty is about to ask you for a donation for his vlog. He said he's doing a dime to you. He's taking you to lunch right now.
Shout out to the bird that does all that. But no, for real, it does make me feel good to see people's personalities really show through. Because that's what our demographic, that's what our base, our viewers like to see. Mm-hmm. They want to see someone that they can relate to, and despite your success and accomplishments, I don't think people can really argue that you're not down to earth, that you're not personable, that people can approach you. And I hope after that, people that didn't know you can get that impression as well.
Chris, I appreciate that, and I always say, when it comes to me, what you see is what you get, right? I'm not gonna change how I act or how I care about people or my manners. Now, I may show some respect, but I'm not gonna change. The day that I have to change and not be me, I don't need to be that for anybody, right? I got to live with myself, and I got to live with my family, and I know what the morals and the values and integrity that my parents taught me, and I hold those true to heart. I come from a good Christian background as well. I mean, sometimes you think like peanut boy, but no, man, I believe the big man above. And he's guided me through many, many challenges and some rough seas. And rough seas, yeah. literally. I mean, I go through Frank Sound Channel sometimes and say, what the heck have I just done? I mean, what an idiot. know? Either God has something good in store for me or he got something bad in store for me, but I'm just trusted in him that he will guide me and also help me make the right decisions for myself, my family, and my country. That's what it all comes down to. We talk about success and stuff, but the greatest success that I have is the family. I look at my wife and my kids, and I believe in them, and I work wholeheartedly in them to make sure that I can provide everything I can. And more people need to show their kids respect and time and have that family unit. And I think if we can instill that into a lot of young minds today, that Cayman will be a better place. We have to have that family respect unit looking out for one another. You know, it's far too many times, you know, you hear, you know, our kids, you know, they don't go home to both parents, they don't go home to one, some goes home to an aunt and uncle and next door neighbor. We didn't bring these kids in because they wanted to be brought in. We brought them in because of our actions. Now we need to take care of them. And if we can instill those morals and those values into our younger parents today with their children, Cayman will flourish and be a better place. It's not all about economy and environment and education. A lot of it, you know, stems from the home. Wow. And I'm blessed with my family that I have, and I thank God every day for them.
Well said. Well said. I want to give people the opportunity to reach out to you. I know you're a politician, so I know you have the number memorized.
If he has anything memorized, it's that's for sure.
Yeah. So how can people get in touch with you? I guess obviously you're Georgetown South voters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
how can they get in touch?
I'm on Instagram. I think it's Rutty, Georgetown South. And I also have a phone number. It's 936-2225.
2225. All right. Let's check the management over there. Yeah. All right.
So.
Yeah. Let's go. And I guess like for us, it's not always about necessarily digging into the topics at hand in terms of the issues, but giving people the opportunity to meet you and realize who you are, and then now they can approach you, they can contact you, they can call you, they can go on IG. Mm-hmm. I guess that's our demographic, IG.
IG, yeah.
Yeah. So
you know,
IG,
reach out, sit down, have a conversation. If you're in the constituency of Georgetown South and you want to hear, you know, what Mr. Rutty has to offer for you, what your concerns are, and how he would address them.
Yeah.
You're gonna pick up the phone and make the knock on the door.
I'd love to hear them, and they also can you know, you can send me a WhatsApp message and stuff. But we talk about the concerns and issues. I mean, issues vary so much through Georgetown South. It's unbelievable because a person across the street may not have the same issue as his neighbor next to him. You know, all depends on the lay of the land. Someone has an employment issue, someone has a flooding issue. And these are not things that can't be fixed. They just need the right people in there to give them the attention and the will to do it. Like I say, I'm not going in to be reelected. I'm going in there to make sure that our Caymanians will have the opportunities and success that other people have come. They need the attention, right? And it's not a lot, but you just need someone willing to go in and make the changes and make the decisions for them to better them and better the country.
Well said.
Appreciate it, man. This was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, Chris.
I enjoyed this.
Chris over here. Chris be partying.
Yeah. I think we had a great interview this time.
Always. Thank you for joining the seat, man. We appreciate it. We wish you all the best. You have a seat whenever you're ready. You just let us know.
I thank you guys very much for the invite, and I'd also like to give a big shout out to the Georgetown South constituents, and also look forward to representing the Greater Cayman. And remember, Cayman Islands National Party. We got a great team, a lot of diverse members on that team, but not all accountants, lawyers, doctors. Everybody has a special skill set that we're bringing to the table. But the biggest and greatest thing that we bring is we're passionate Caymanians. We care for our people, we care for our country, and we want to make it right. And make sure you vote Cayman Islands National Party and Gear Rutty, Peanut Rutty, Georgetown South. Okay, we'll do it. We got it done.
You've been listening to the Link Up Podcast.